All right, welcome back. This is your last video for LiveQuest. Aw. Okay, so I wanted to take you through the action pack because there's a lot here and I don't talk about I only talk about one page of it in the part. So I do want to go over all of this so that you understand how to use all of this, okay? So at the beginning, you'll see some of the typical stuff, you know, your journal prompts, things like that. But we have a page for your top occupations here. All right, so this is a great place for you to just kind of keep track of the occupations that you're considering. You can write down the occupation, the average salary, and then the preferred qualifications and education options. So with some of these, you will have only one choice for education and qualification. You know, you got to have this kind of degree or something like that. So that's where you'll write it. With some of them, you might have options. If it says master's degree preferred, that means you don't have to get a master's degree. They'd like to see it, but a bachelor's degree will work. Or if it says bachelor's degree preferred, you don't have to have a bachelor's degree. So there might be some other sort of option. Or it could be something like if you want to be an electrician, you could do an apprenticeship, you could do a vocational program, and that vocational program could be at a trade school or at a community college. So this would be the place to list your options and what they cost. Okay, so this would be a great place to keep track of all of it, and then you can actually see the numbers. You can compare occupations, you can compare institution and degree costs, and you can compare it with the salary so that you can calculate your return on investment. Okay. All right. Top next steps. So this is going to be a great place for you to keep track of all your institutions or programs. All right. So you're going to write down a program that maybe you're trying to decide between programs, or maybe you're trying to decide between institutions. You want to write down the cost for each, and then your pros and cons. You'll see in the resource section, which we'll get to last, I do have a link to how to evaluate a program, and so that'll talk about all kinds of other things. But this is where you can keep track of all of it. Make sure that you go and visit a campus, that sort of thing, and you can keep notes here, okay? That way you can compare them with each other, and it should help you to decide. Scholarships, remember how I said you want to apply for as many as you can, as often as you can, so you can print this page out as many times as you want. You can write down the scholarship you find, the amount, the deadline, the requirements for it, and keep track of them here. Check it off, star it when it's done, whatever your system is. So that's a great place to do that. All right, next we have college application timeline. So if you are going to university, this timeline is going to be longer than community college or trade school or anything else. So you definitely want to keep track of it. I will say that apprenticeships and vocational programs often have rolling enrollment, so you can start kind of at any time. Some of them you can start any month. Some of them you can start any semester. Technically, that's true for university. You don't have to go in the fall. You can start in the spring if you wanted to, or you can even start over the summer. I know some people that graduate and immediately start in the summer. But this timeline is for starting college in the fall. Okay, there's going to be a lot more to do if you're going to university. So this is the timeline here, and I've got check boxes so that you can keep track and so that you don't miss any deadlines. Okay, it's a lot to do, but this will actually make it easier. You can just each month take a look, check it off, and move on. Okay. All right. Student brag sheet for letters of recommendation. A lot of programs will ask for letters of recommendation. So you will need to go to someone who knows you that is not a family member and ask them to send a letter of recommendation, and they have to send it directly to the institution. They can't give it to you and then have you deliver it, right? Now, this is a big ask, right? It's a big favor that you're asking, but most teachers and coaches and stuff like that expect it. They know this is part of the process. But because they're doing a favor for you, you can do a favor for them and give them a brag sheet. So it makes it easier for them to write the letter of recommendation. And here I've included one, so you can print this out as many times as you want to, fill it out, and give it to each person that you've asked for a letter of recommendation. making it as easy for you as possible. Oh, and by the way, some schools are actually accepting your brag sheet as part of your application process, sort of like a resume. So a lot of people are starting to include this in their application process as well. So it's just good to have one. Okay, and then the final page is your resource page. You guys, this this action pack could have gone on and on and on forever, but especially since we have people who are going in lots of different directions, I just made it a resource page, but I do want to walk you through all of it so you know what to look for. So letters of recommendation, how to ask for one is on here. More about brag sheets is on here. Application essays. So here's the thing, you'll be writing essays for your applications, and many scholarships will ask for applications. So this is going to help you formulate your answers, help you write some essays. Just so you know, there are also essay coaches out there. You could probably find some local ones, probably find some online ones. Yes, that is an additional cost. You know, calculate the investment, see if it's worth it for you. But because so many scholarships ask for an essay, or particularly if a school or a program is really hard to get into and you really want to get into it, it might be worth it because you can reuse essays at multiple schools or with multiple scholarships. So if you've got a really, really good essay, it might be worth it to hire an essay coach or an essay editor or something like that, okay? Common App, if you have not already started working with them, you will get to know them. It's a place for you to fill out one application and send it to multiple universities. And then filling out your application. Information about Honors College. You may want to join an Honors College. You may not want to, so this kind of goes into the details of that. FAFSA. Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. I've got a link for when you should apply and a YouTube for how to apply. Here's what I want you to know. In the timeline above, I tell you when to do it. And that is the earliest that you can submit a FAFSA. And it is months before the deadline. You do that for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because the sooner your application is received, the more money you are likely to get than the later. So you want to turn it in as soon as possible. Also, 90% of FAFSAs are filled out incorrectly. And if that is the case, there will be lots of back and forth. Fill out this section again. Now fill out that section again. So you don't want to put it off and miss the deadline because your FAFSA was filled out incorrectly, okay? So I've included a YouTube video here so that you know how to fill it out right. And I'm going to have you in the timeline submit it early. That way you can avoid that as much as possible, okay? Finding an apprenticeship. So if that's the direction you want to go, you can go to apprenticeship.gov and find one and get one. Scholarships, I've got 2 different links here for you to find scholarships. Gap year programs, if that's something that you're interested in. Here's a link to go to find them. Military enlistments. Service projects, which can be done summer before or after college, which, by the way, service projects, it's just, these are great experiences to have just in life. Plus you can get scholarship money for it. Many of them give you scholarship money for school after you're done. And they will also like pay for your room and board and stuff like that while you're doing the service learning project, and even get a stipend. So this is just a really cool option. And even some people do them after college if they're, you know, having a hard time getting a job. You can defer your payments and go do a service learning project and get it on your resume. There's just lots of really cool stuff about that. Okay. Trade schools, a place to look for trade schools. I have a few getting the job. So this is a great resource here for getting jobs now or later or during college or whenever. How to write a resume with no experience. LinkedIn for beginners. Job, she's got a bunch of stuff. This is just a great resource. It's all YouTube videos. Interviewing, she's got basics on interviewing. She's also got really targeted videos about how to answer like really hard to answer questions for interviews, things like that. So it's a great resource. And then finally, evaluating the value of an institution. I've got one for university and one for trade schools. So you should have just about everything that you need to get it done, to get as much scholarship money as you can, to get as much grant money as you can. to not miss any deadlines, and to find a really, really good fit for program and for institution. And of course, we can talk about any of this on your one-on-one call. I can't wait to see you there. It'll be our last one. Oh, I'm so sad. But I'll see you there.